both of them down. Get this. The New York Post says the Reverend Al Sharpton has been shaking down corporations for years. Reportedly, he says, donate to my National Action Network or we'll call your company racist. All right, Judge Andrew Napolitano is here.
This almost seems so blatantly inappropriate and nearly criminal that I'm beginning to think that there must be more to it than this. And quite frankly, I would want to see what, just to be serious about it. I mean, Sharpton's a character. He's involved in so many disputes, one after another. This on top of all the awful things involving the police in New York City in the past couple of weeks. But if this is true, as reported in the Post, I would want to see what documents reflect its reduction to writing. Because, as you know, a corporation like General Motors or Nabisco or some of these multinational corporations are not just going to pay him. There's going to be some reduction to writing, and he's going to have to do something to generate that pay. Otherwise, it's not an ordinary, reasonable expense for them.
Does it have to be in writing? Couldn't he just go in and say, you know, we might have a problem with your company, but my National Action Network could help you?
He's so controversial. I would think that management, to insulate itself from some sort of an inquiry by shareholders, would want to reduce this to writing. Look, if this is as the Post says it is, it has the earmarks of a shakedown and it's unlawful. There are probably other ways to look at it if he provides some service, pardon me, to these corporations, and the fair market value of those services is whatever they're paying.
Well, he could be a consultant. Here's how you are not going to be racist. Here's how you do it. Contribute to my National Action Network. We'll give you some good advice. We'll consult
so
with
if you were
that's not illegal.
If you were the CEO of a $50 or $60 billion corporation, and you were concerned about some characters in social media calling either you personally or your corporation racist, might it be a very inexpensive way to deflect that call and get rid of that fear by giving some money to Mr. Sharpton's organization?
Precisely.
And in that respect, this is a good business judgment. It's not extortion. It's a win-win. The corporation is insulated from the charge of racism, and Reverend Sharpton gets some money in his coffers.
But it's an awful comment on what I would call the race industry, the race business in America.
I could not agree with you more. It is a reprehensible observation on the race industry. People who use the race card to increase their own wealth.
If a corporation were shown to have contributed money to the Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network, that would be extremely bad publicity for that corporation.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, listen, I don't know everything that he does. I assume it's a 501c3. I assume the IRS looks at it. And let's say that he does perform positive services for a politically underrepresented portion of society, and those services are based upon race. Can the corporation finance that legally? Answer, yes. Might it be a good PR move for that corporation? Depending upon the political environment of that corporation, it very well might be.
Politically, it looks absolutely dreadful when the Reverend Al Sharpton attends a meeting, I believe in the White House, with President Obama and sits next to the Vice President when the issue is race and the police. That looks absolutely awful.
Well, let's bring it down to New York City. I believe that Commissioner Bratton said it was a mistake to discuss the issues with the police in a public forum with Al Sharpton seated between the mayor and him, as if he was in the hierarchy of authority. Look, one way to look at Al Sharpton is he's a voice for the voiceless. Another way to look at him is the way the Post prefers to look at him. He's a charlatan who's using threats and fear and intimidation. I'm sure the truth is somewhere between the two.
I think it probably is, but it's an unfortunate thing, isn't it?
It is, and the way the Post presented it, it gets under your skin.
It sure does.
If that is true, it really does get under your skin. You're a shareholder in a lot of major corporations. Do you want your money? You want those corporations spending money on things like this?
No, I do not.
There you go.
Case closed. Judge, what a pleasure it is to be back with you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back with you and in the saddle.
I think I might have a slight Australian accent after this.
What else is new?
Not Australian.
I'm just teasing you.
Welcome back, Judge. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.